Hey, hey. All right. So, Virgos, welcome back. Virgos, happy year of the fire horse. We are in it. So, yesterday we left the year of the snake and moved into the year of the fire horse. So, here we are. All right. So, Virgos, I wanted to go ahead and take a peek at a little bit of everything. First off, what is kind of the big message or the big like project, I'll say, for this upcoming year? We have Hanged Man, we have Knight of Swords. First and foremost, for Virgo to move swiftly through like analysis, to move swiftly beyond things where they get stuck and they're trying too hard to always see the other side of something. Meaning maybe Virgos like practicing some of their instinct, and seeing, like a quick simple practice perhaps for Virgo this year would be, um, that little like word association game. If somebody says something, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? Start listening and honoring, because Virgos have very analytical minds, right? But start listening and honoring to that first touch of, what the gut instinct is. Like, oh, actually, my first inclination was such and such. My first thought was, I don't know that I believe that. Let me go look up a fact on that. Instead of saying, gosh, I didn't think I believed that. But, someone's telling me this. So I guess I have to go against what my instinct and intuition is. And I guess I have to force myself to agree with somebody. Or if Virgo, it feels like I feel so drawn to, some pathway that I think would be right for me, something I'd like to explore, something I'd like to learn about, but oh no, that's probably foolish of me. Stay in the lane that I'm in. Don't expand. Don't seek out that other information, or even right down to, Virgo is feeling like, gosh, I for some reason something tells me I should pick up the phone and call that friend today, and then it's like, no, they're probably busy. I don't know why that thought flitted through my head. I'll just ignore it. This kind of says maybe for Virgo to listen more to the intuition. Now, obviously, not on dangerous things like, should I spend all the money I have in my bank account? My first inclination is yes, because I want that really expensive item. This is not something like that, right? There's not a break from reality and going down fantasy land, but more, just those little moments where we have a flicker of like, I think my first instinct was this, but then I can talk myself out of it and flip it over and then bog myself down. This is not the year to do that. This is the year to keep it moving. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. And I know that if we went too far on that extreme edge, then it would be like, wow, so we just randomly, we're walking through the house and we see a pair of scissors and we're like, I'm going to cut all my hair off, No, it doesn't mean that, like, crazy lack of impulse control, but it does say if Virgo wanted to trim their hair for 14 months, but kept finding a reason why, gosh, I don't know. This says either answer the question, do I really not want to do it? Then quit even thinking about it. Or do I want to do it, but I'm afraid someone will judge me for the hairstyle that I want? It just says get to the bottom of what do you really want to do? Why do you want to do it? And then decide to move forward or vacate that idea if it's no good. But don't have a cluttered mind this year of all the things we'd like to do but talk ourselves out of or shame ourselves out of. Okay, kind of a great message, or at least I hope that came across in a great way. Maybe I didn't handle that with the best language. On the other hand, like we said, spit it out and move on. Okay, we also have a Six of Pentacles. This is a year where Virgo is going to be collaborating with other people. So jump on in and, meet new people, interact with people, get involved in things that Virgo cares about, go panning for those gold nuggets, take some kind of chances on like, hey, I'd love to learn about something, so let me go ahead and do it. Let me go to this event. Let me go talk to, different people at this seminar, because that could be a real turning point for Virgo. Virgo's going to be networking this year. They could be working with others this year. It could be really, really nice. So this is looking like a year for Virgo to just kind of like, let me go for it. Let me get involved and let me start to explore. Not every time that we go gold panning will we find a gold nugget, right? But it does say this is going to be the way I think Virgo sifts through relationships, conversations, scenarios, and finds those gold nuggets and finds maybe kindred spirits and, connects with people that maybe are really going to be important in Virgo's life. So let's shift over to the fire horse this year for the topic of love. By the way, Virgo may find themselves wanting to wear more gold. Actually, before we go to love, let me go to a gemstone deck. Virgo, what might be a gemstone of interest this year? We have Tanzanite, and we also have the Great Star of Africa. So we have got, like, obviously massive diamonds, and we've got Tanzanite. Now, these do come with possibility and envy. These are things that, stones that Virgo might be drawn to this year, but also come with that added message. It may say, don't chase diamonds, don't chase perfection, don't chase the biggest diamond there is. Be content in going after things that allow Virgo to stay flexible, give more opportunities for growth. I could see Tanzanite having a more soothing influence over Virgo than diamonds this year, just because it says, tell me, what is it that you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? All of this sounds like it's a year of possibilities for Virgo. Sorry, I know I look like I went through a wind tunnel. I was outside with Aries earlier today, and I'm in a storm right now. So forgive me, guys. I realize I got a glimpse of me, and I'm like, it looks like I've got an eagle getting ready to nest in my hair. Oh well, Virgo, have fun, play in the wind, be windblown, whatever it is. Now let's turn our attention to love. Okay, so this could be a year for serious connections. We have the Emperor, Aries energy, and even here, this Emperor is approaching his lioness. The lion approaches his lioness. This is a year for serious long-term commitment for Virgo. It's also a year where either Virgo is going to step into the Emperor's role or Virgo is going to attract an Emperor. Strength card, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's an equally matched energy. Powerful, strong, connected, great eye contact, great energetic vibe. I feel like, talk about wild and precious life, I'm going to say Virgo could have some serious good love in this year. Also connect powerfully to a fellow powerful being. You notice how everything in the fire horse year would be like a little faster pace, but we're really seeing that come up in Virgo's messaging here. And then when it comes to, love, it's not only like possibly a fast pace, because Virgo could meet somebody, fall in love and marry them this year, or someone they've been with, the connection becomes very mature all of a sudden, and it's just super serious, and the vibration gets, more aligned. My impression, though, is that this could be somebody new, and things could really build very swiftly. It doesn't have to be a love at first sight per se, but throughout the course of, the year of the fire horse, so until February of next year, like Virgo could go from, filing taxes as a single person to filing joint taxes, like there could be a lot of changes between now and, 2027. And it just says Virgo's probably going to discover, because we have the Ankh here. Ankh is that Egyptian symbol of life. I should wear my Ankh ring in honor of Virgo right now. So that Egyptian symbol of life-changing event in love for Virgo. How does Virgo welcome this? What's a nudge for Virgo if they want to welcome in a really mature love with a high vibrational person that they have a very strong bond with? We have the Inspiration of Pentacles in the reverse, which says, on one hand, Virgo, don't rewrite old history. Don't look back at the past. Tower sideways. It almost feels to me like Virgo is already, like if they expect to have something more meaningful this year, Virgo probably will welcome in something more meaningful. If Virgo is saying, oh, I don't want to assume too much of an adventure life story. If I want to play it really, really small, then it probably, there's something poisonous to that. It kind of says Virgo should expect the best for their love life this year. So the expectation is like, oh, I don't want to do anything that's, mediocre. I don't want to spend time, investing in relationships that can't go the distance if I can already tell right out of the gate we're not compatible. So I think Virgo is not going to have their energy shunted in a different direction. Like, let's put it in a simpler context. If we were making a dinner and we're like, well, I really don't like tomatoes. Would we spend a bunch of time making a specific, roasted tomato dish? Why would we do that? That's not what we're going to eat. We're going to make that dish and we're not going to touch it. So we may as well skip that and make a dish with zucchini and pasta instead of making some roasted tomato such and such. There's no point in investing your time, your ingredients, and making something that you don't even want to eat. So same in relationship. If somebody doesn't have anything that you are compatible with, why start trying to either make it work or put in the investment of time, money, energy? So Virgo doesn't do that this year. And with that tower sideways, it does say that means Virgo has to be in a flexible frame of mind. You can't always tell who is or isn't going to be compatible, but when you know, then you need to go ahead and let that go. You got to be willing to, because, a lot of things are, we meet somebody, they're great, but we don't have long-term potential. We got to be able to let it go instead of say, but I must have met him for a reason and I have to make this work. And there must be a reason that we're supposed to be the perfect people together. Sometimes people are Mr. or Mrs. Right now, not Mr. or Mrs. Right. And so it just says, and I know that's so hard, I always say to Kenny Rogers, your way through something. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. But that is what the universe is asking Virgo to be okay doing. 8 of Wands in the reverse. The other thing is, all of this feels like it's Virgo is being urged to not spend time with things that don't have the potential to go the distance. Also, to be able to let go of things that aren't going to work, but to also lay down any ego and give enough time to figure out if something could work. And I know that sounds so contradictory, but it would be like, do we dismiss people at a very first conversation? Sometimes we do, and that's not always the way to go. I mean, it depends. If somebody says something totally heinous, I can understand where it's like, yeah, I definitely can't see me dating that person. I get that. But this does say, be discerning, be able to look at facts, but also make sure that you get the facts. Don't move on so quickly that you might miss out on somebody that is really fabulous. It really boils down to being present, I think, in love in particular, looking at individuals and seeing them for what they are, not what we want them to be, not what we, erroneously judge them to be on, first glance. Like I said, I mean, the caveat to that is if somebody says something totally heinous, where it's like, okay, you're literally a monster, I wouldn't want anything to do with you. And there are those moments, right? But this is, it says, have an expectation that the people you're willing to invest in are going to be the ones that you really feel pulled to invest in. But at the same time, don't have an expectation where I'm supposed to know that it's my person in the first 30 seconds and they have to display this, and this quality. Because I think Virgo's going to be a little surprised this year. Let me just look a little closer. We have the Tower in the reverse. We have the Magician upright. Somebody is going to surprise Virgo this year, and they could be a fellow Virgo or they could be a Gemini. But of course, we brought in some more of that Tower energy as well. There could be potentially a divine masculine because we already saw that Emperor. But in Virgo's future, in this year of the Fire Horse, they could be the ones that are going to surprise Virgo with a very vulnerable energy, somebody that Virgo would not expect to lay themselves on the line. This could be somebody that Virgo, hasn't either had a whole lot of interaction with, and then at some point they just turn to Virgo and they, ask Virgo out. They share something of themselves with Virgo, and that could be like, wow, I didn't expect to get some depth from you. I don't know why, but I expected you were somebody, too busy doing this or that. You're sharing a dream with me. You're sharing a hope with me. You're sharing something important of who you really are on the inside with me. Okay. that's going to bring Virgo into that person's inner world a bit. And it could come from, a very boss figure. The emperor could be, I mean, this could be somebody famous that Virgo ends up with. This could be somebody who's in quite the public eye. An emperor can be like somebody who has a lot of responsibility. They may have a big business. They could have many different, like, kind of big responsibilities or prominence in this world. And they could be somebody who, I don't know, I just keep feeling like the person that Virgo may end up with in this year could be someone who is quite well known, perhaps. And yet with Virgo, they want to like let Virgo see the real them. Sometimes people that are well known or running big companies or famous or something, we put this veneer on them like, oh, they live in a world I couldn't possibly imagine me walking in, little old me. And yet, remember, they're all just humans. It doesn't matter how much money we have or how famous somebody is. Every single person out there, nobody's immune to heartbreak or fear. Nobody's immune to any of that. We're all human. And so I just feel like this person could be somebody that Virgo will be a little bit stunned, drops their guard, and really wants to like open up and share something with Virgo. Again, remember, it said, now this makes more sense why it was like Virgo, don't intend to spend a bunch of your time investing in relationships that wouldn't go anywhere. On the other hand, don't imagine that you will know at first glance, oh, that person and we wouldn't match, because Virgo could have been in danger of blowing off a very famous, very lovely, very prominent person, because Virgo's like, oh, whatever, I'm not going to end up with somebody like that. That's ridiculous. And this just says, no, two hearts are pulled together for a reason. Virgo's partnership, the person who's looking for someone just like Virgo, remember, they're just a person too, no matter how, elevated their life seems. So Virgo, don't blow off somebody because it's like, oh, that person's too good looking, too famous, too this, too wealthy, out of my bracket. No, nobody's out of your bracket, Virgo. Now, all people are equal. And I just think that's a really important message on that. Okay, final message. Anything else from the universe here? Three of Pentacles, Five of Cups. This is also a year where I think Virgo is going to make significant strides, possibly in things like creative endeavors, work endeavors, monetary endeavors. And it says, don't forget that there are people that are, as Virgo's having a pretty like bumper crop year is what it says. There are people out there that are going to be really struggling. And if Virgo becomes somebody who is, fortunate enough to have some huge prosperity, Virgo's going to be able to turn around and share some of that, like kind of like throw out a life raft to other people that are not having a prosperous time. And it just says Virgo's going to be in a position to help people. I mean, those who want help, obviously, but to offer some kind of, like maybe Virgo's going to be quite the networker this year, and they're going to be able to put someone who's talented, who recently lost a job, in contact with another company. Whether or not Virgo works there or not doesn't matter. Virgo's like, oh, my friend has this company. They need somebody with your skills. This says, don't underestimate the power that you play to be the person who connects different things. That is part of Virgo's gift this year. They will be transferring like good vibes and connecting people. Virgo's going to be like that. That's a role that they play this year, is be the connector, be the Lincoln log, be the person that pulls things together. That's a really awesome energy. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.